What if the one thing that made your company legendary was also quietly killing it? On January 27, 2026, Southwest Airlines made a decision that stunned the aviation world. It officially ended the open seating policy that had defined every single flight since its very first departure back in 1971. For over 5 decades, no assigned seats, no class distinctions, no complicated fare tiers. Just board the plane and sit wherever you like. But here is the twist that makes this story truly fascinating. Southwest's own customer surveys revealed that 80% of its passengers actually preferred assigned seats, and a staggering 86% of travelers who flew other airlines said open seating was the reason they avoided Southwest entirely. So the airline wasn't killing a beloved tradition, it was finally removing the single biggest barrier keeping millions of travelers away. Born on a cocktail napkin, to understand just how radical this transformation really is, we need to go back to where it all began. The year was 1971, and 2 men sat inside a San Antonio restaurant, sketching a business plan on a cocktail napkin. That simple drawing, a triangle connecting Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, would become the foundation of one of the most successful airlines in American history. Southwest Airlines launched on June 18, 1971. Operating out of Dallas Love Field with just 3 Boeing 737s and one radical promise: flying should cost no more than driving. No first class, no frills, no complexity. Just low fares, warm service, and a rebellious spirit that dared to challenge everything the airline industry believed about itself. The genius of simplicity. What made Southwest truly different wasn't just cheap tickets, it was a philosophy built entirely around the power of simplicity. Every major airline at the time operated multiple aircraft types, which meant separate maintenance crews, separate spare parts, and separate pilot training programs for each one. Southwest flew only Boeing 737s, one aircraft, one training program, one parts inventory. The savings were enormous. This simplicity cascaded through every layer of the operation. Open seating meant passengers filled the plane organically, moving toward empty spaces instead of clogging the aisle waiting for row 34 to clear. In Southwest's early days, the airline achieved legendary 10-minute gate turnarounds, a feat that left competitors, who needed 45 minutes, completely speechless. Those extra 35 minutes per stop allowed Southwest aircraft to fly one additional short-haul flight every single day. 47 profitable years. The results of this model were nothing short of extraordinary. For 47 consecutive years, Southwest Airlines never posted an annual loss, not during economic recessions, not after the September 11th terrorist attacks grounded American aviation, not during fuel crises that drove competitors into bankruptcy. The airline grew from 3 planes flying a triangle route in Texas into a national carrier generating $28 billion in annual revenue by 2025. At its peak, Southwest employed more than 72,000 people and operated over 800 aircraft. It proved something the rest of the industry refused to believe: that an airline could be consistently profitable without charging premium prices or treating economy passengers like an afterthought. Southwest wasn't just a company. It was a counterargument to everything conventional aviation wisdom claimed was necessary. When the cracks appeared, then came December 2022, and in a matter of days, everything unraveled. Winter Storm Elliott swept across the United States during the busiest travel week of the year. Every airline faced disruptions, but while Delta, American, and United recovered within 48 hours, Southwest collapsed entirely. The airline canceled over 16,900 flights between December 21st and December 30th, stranding 2 million passengers during Christmas week. Families slept on airport floors, luggage vanished. Customer service lines went unanswered for 8 hours or more, and the cause was not the weather, it was software. Southwest's crew scheduling system, a legacy platform called SkySolver, simply lost track of where pilots and flight attendants were located across the country. The point-to-point network that made Southwest so efficient in good weather meant crews were scattered everywhere during a crisis, with no central hub to anchor a recovery. The financial damage exceeded $1.1 billion, and the Department of Transportation issued a $140 million penalty, minus 30 times larger than any aviation fine in U.S. history. The activist arrives: Wall Street had tolerated Southwest's unconventional priorities for decades. But after the 2022 meltdown, patience ran out. In June 2024, Elliott Investment Management, one of the most aggressive activist hedge funds in the world, disclosed a $1.9 billion stake in Southwest Airlines, representing approximately 11% of the entire company. Their message to the board was brutal and direct. Elliott documented how Southwest's stock had dropped more than 50% over 3 years while competitors like Delta and United soared. They demanded immediate leadership changes and predicted the stock could reach $49 per share, a 77% return, but only if the airline transformed itself quickly. By October 2024, Southwest's executive chairman announced accelerated retirement. 6 new board directors joined with ties to Virgin America, WestJet, and Marriott, and CEO Bob Jordan kept his position only by promising exactly what Elliott wanted: rapid, sweeping, and irreversible change, reinventing everything. What Southwest announced in the months that followed was one of the most comprehensive business transformations in modern airline history. The democratic single-class cabin with uniform 32-inch seat pitch gave way to three distinct tiers: extra legroom seats near exit rows with premium beverages, preferred seats toward the front for faster deplaning, and standard seats in the rear assigned at check-in. The iconic ABC boarding groups with numbered positions 1 through 60 disappeared, replaced by 8 priority groups based on fare tier and loyalty status. Perhaps the most emotionally charged change involved baggage. For 54 years, Southwest was the only major U.S. carrier offering free checked bags to every passenger on every flight, a policy that cost hundreds of millions in foregone revenue annually, while competitors charged $35 to $60 per bag. Starting May 28, 2025, Southwest began charging $35 for the first bag and $45 for the second. Bag fees alone are projected to generate approximately $800 million in additional annual revenue, with total incremental earnings estimated at $4.3 billion by 2027. The question that remains. Here is the uncomfortable truth sitting at the heart of this entire story. A traveler comparing Southwest to Delta in 2027 will find assigned seats on both, bag fees on both, premium cabins on both, and tiered loyalty programs on both. The thing that once made Southwest impossible to ignore, its radical, joyful, almost stubborn refusal to be like everyone else, will simply no longer exist. Southwest's founder Herb Kelleher once said that employees come first, customers come second, and shareholders come third. That order mattered deeply. Elliott Investment Management holds a very different view. The corporate layoffs of 1,750 employees in February 2025, the policy reversals, the declining morale in employee surveys, all of it tells a story about which philosophy won. The stock price rose. Wall Street declared victory. But the question the aviation world is now watching is whether an airline built on being unlike everyone else can truly survive by becoming exactly like everyone else. If this story made you think differently about business, identity, and the price of survival, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your perspective in the comments below. Do you think Southwest made the right call, or did it just trade its soul for a short-term gain? Subscribe to the World Documentaries so you never miss a story like this one. Hit the like button if you learned something new today, and share this with someone who loves business history. We have so many more fascinating stories coming your way. See you in the next one.